Well, the weather has been quite crazy for the last 24 hours. It saw fire and emergency call out, 60 call outs in Auckland, Northland, Bay of Plenty and Waikato. Cold weather follows the wild weather, snow isolating Mackenzie country with temperatures dropping. The deluge across the North Island began yesterday afternoon and saw trees downed in some areas, power cut to homes and vehicles caught in floodwaters. Civil Defence began knocking on doors in the Taupo area, preparing people to evacuate as flooding from heavy rain overnight caused the Tauranga Taupo River to swell to breaking point. Joining me now on this and so much more, she is a favourite of the show, Taupo councillor and political commentator, the one, the only, Christine Rankin. Hello, Christine. Are you there, my love? Oh, no. Come on. Why can I not hear her? Christine! Extine! Oh, this can't be. Okay, just letting Kelly play with the. Should I try one more time? One more time? No, she's talking to her. I'm not going to run through that big intro again. Oh dear, she's gone. All right, she's calling back in. Or this is the awkward silence that you talk amongst yourselves. No, really. Well, there's no point saying much if I'm just going to fill time. Let's try one more time.
You got rid of me.
Hello, Christine.
Hello.
What happened there, my God?
I don't know. I think you put me on some kind of strange hold. I was in space.
We put you in the twilight zone, which is how I feel most days.
Probably where I belong.
Well, look, my love, I'm not going to run through the whole intro again, but I did mention what was happening in your area with Civil Defence preparing to knock on doors in the Taupo area because of flooding. Did that happen? Is that still happening?
No. Apparently we reached the peak and it didn't create any flooding, which is wonderful. We did have a wild night last night. The wind and the rain. We've got a Hebel house and you can't hear much when you're inside it, but by golly, you could hear everything last night. It was dreadful.
What's a Hebel house?
Oh, a Hebel house looks like a plaster house, but it's this thick block, and it keeps the noise out, it keeps the warmth in the winter and the cool in the summer, and it is just an amazing sort of we didn't build it, but that's what we've got.
Gosh, I've never heard of that.
It blocks everything out. I never hear what the neighbours are doing or anyone else.
Oh, that's good. I thought you might have said...
But we heard the storm.
I got to see you in a yurt, Christine. No, you'd never be in a yurt.
Hell no. Where would I put my clothes?
I know. You're like me. You're not a yurt girl. Hey, right. We have got a lot to get through, and I suppose we've got to start because it was breaking news late last night on TV1. I mean, I suppose it's a big deal. I mean, but the media is really, really, really making this the biggest story I think ever. This is Michael Forbes, the former Deputy Chief Press Secretary of Christopher Luxon, resigned over serious and concerning allegations, including filming a couple of sex workers and other women, and had videos of women. And he said that he was in a downward spiral last year when he did it, and he's been to therapy. And the police didn't think it was bad enough to press charges, but it's all come out now, Christine.
Yes, it has. And look, I think it's fair enough that it's been made a meal of, but you can compare it with a recent occurrence with one of the Green Party members.
Exactly.
Which actually is far more dangerous. This is not talking about adults and in any consenting situation, and I know part of this was not consenting, but where the Greens' attitude seemed to be children were just another sexual preference, and what's wrong with those of us who don't believe that's true? They blocked that every way they could, but this one they're making a meal of, and the other one deserved far more attention than this. This is some anomaly in someone's life, and I think it happens a lot, and yes, we should be talking about it and hearing about it, but at the end of the day, how come it wasn't this way in a situation that was much, much, much worse?
Thank you. I think so too, in fact. And I've seen now on the Herald website, police commissioner to address allegations against PM's former press sec. Does this really warrant the police commissioner being wheeled out? I'm just, again,
No,
where was this, why were they not so upset about Benjamin Doyle? Look, this wasn't right what this guy did, but there was, and now there's going to be a deep dive, and Luxon said he was super shocked, and now they're going to look at even stringent vetting. Look, what people do in their off time and visiting prostitutes I don't care. Like, do it, but obviously don't film them. You twit. You shouldn't have done that. But they're acting like it's the biggest thing.
Oh, it's as I said to you, yes, it should be exposed. No, he shouldn't have been in that job. How the hell are they going to vet this? That is just ridiculous. That is something you would. What do you think? You have to got a form and please declare any sexual deviancies on here or strange sexual practices.
Do you visit prostitutes? A,
yes.
Yes.
Do you
B,
film them?
Sometimes. D, on occasion. E, only when the missus is away. I mean,
honestly, I read a book. Well, I'm about 3/4 of the way through it, and it was the television program Madam. They did the brothel up north, which is based on a true story. And look, we've got some very interesting souls in our society, and what they get these poor women to do is unbelievable. But it's quite common. I was shocked to find it's quite common. It's very regular. Lots of people do it. And when I compare it once again with Benjamin Doyle, I don't care what consenting adults do, but I care hugely about what our babies are subjected to. This wrecks their lives. We're not talking about a situation like this here. This destroys children, but we couldn't talk about it. And his weird practices were somehow made to look normal. They weren't normal. They're still not. Children are still in danger out there as far as he and many others are concerned, and we don't take it seriously.
Yeah. Two political polls, Christine, out this week tell a very different story. The One News Varian poll showed the coalition could hold on to power if the election was held today, but RNZ's Reid Research poll had the left bloc in front. How much weight do you put on these polls, Christine?
I honestly don't know what to believe anymore, and they have got to have a political bias. There's got to be some game being played with some people in the background. You can't tell me that intelligent New Zealanders are not looking at what happened to us 2.5 short years ago, or 2 short years ago. Our country was destroyed. Can you honestly tell me that New Zealanders are looking to repeat that? I know everything is not going perfectly, although I think the government is doing much better. And look at, I think the TV1 poll actually reflected more the way I see it, which doesn't mean that that's right, but the people I associate with are very reluctantly sort of saying National's doing a better job. We're making a bit of progress, even though times are really tough. And Winston is definitely admired for his, by Conservative, for his statesman-like performance, and so is Shane. They're the only two people in New Zealand First, let's face it. Yeah. And they've done a very good job to reflect Conservative views. You don't have to agree with them, but they've both done very, very well. Now, that looks to me as though it's reflecting something that I see and feel in my part of my world and community. But I do not. Red radio is a whole different kettle of fish.
Absolutely.
You can't tell me the crazy Greens that put out that budget only a week ago, or the racist to Party Maori. People are truly thinking of voting for them. No, I don't believe it.
I believe that, people do have short memories, sadly. And I also believe that a lot of people, that voting and who you follow, Christine, is more a tribal, what's in it for me? People say, oh, yes, I want what's best for the country, but they don't really. it's like what
No,
they'll get out of
I
it,
agree.
I mean, that's how they work. And I talked about this before, that I think with that 13 billion that was found in the budget by, resetting the pay parity bill, and you've got these hundreds of thousands of women who now feel that they've been hard done by, regardless of the fact that the whole process had blown out thanks to Labor, and this was just bringing it back to what it should be. But I really think that went against the government, that move.
I do too, and they bungled it. It
Yeah.
wasn't the actual change, it was how they portrayed it. It was appalling. And they need to take a long, hard look at themselves and plan much better next time something like this happens. The story is not as bad as it seems, but I absolutely understand why the women who were sitting on the edge of something that they desperately wanted and it was whipped away from them are angry. Any of us would be angry, and the government, good Lord, what's his name? Michael was obviously distracted, because wasn't he giving Michael Forbes? Perhaps he should have been doing a better job. I'm not even sure that was his job. But
maybe that's why Luxon's been flailing a bit, because old Forbes was busy doing other things, and he should have been. He should have been working hard for the boss. Now it all makes sense.
It does. See, look, I've just worked it out.
Let's look at the newly minted Deputy Prime Minister David Seymour. Labor's calling him dangerous. Willie Jackson can't help himself, keeps thinking that, he's dangerous. What do you make of, David and his new position? Nothing will change, really.